That's why most people who watch our videos don't invest. You've been hearing about gold. You've been hearing about insurance. You've been hearing about all this, but you don't do. Because
But now we are having so many internet resources where we can get an information easily. So when we say that we are going to do this and invest in stocks, they think that the market is the same as 15 or 20 years later.
so that psychology is very true, but it's very hard to do it.
Yeah.
Because it's just not you.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Be Rich Podcast. So in this Wednesday session, we are going to discuss about a book called Psychology of Money. In this, I am going to take a particular chapter. In this chapter, they compare about the American people who have spent their teens in 1950s and 1970s. People who have spent their teens in 1950s, the market have been in a sluggish phase. So the people have not seen that much returns. Whereas the people who have spent their teens in 1970s, the share market in USA gave better returns, and so whoever have invested in that time think that share market is good, and they recommend people investing in the stocks. So how does people born in the different phases view the market?
It's true. A big part of the way you look at money comes from the context of the culture you grow up in. And that influences a lot.
Okay.
Like you see it in Japan right now. After the crash in 1980s, that generation was like a lost generation. So if you're born in that time, 1980s in Japan, you have not seen your country have any kind of economic growth.
Okay.
You've not seen any wage growth. You've not seen anything. So now at the age of 40 in Japan, let's say you're born in 1989, you're 44, 45, they're saying the stock market is booming.
The U-shape has taken, and from 1989 the bottom has touched, and it has reached only the level it was in the 1989.
Correct. So you're not seen anything.
Yeah, okay.
So imagine your father. You were born in 1980. Your father was before that. He's seen doldrums.
Okay.
He's lost complete faith in market and investment. You're brought up in that, and you've seen it in your own eyes. Nothing happening. Suddenly everything is good. Someone says you'll find it very hard to digest, and you're not going to take your money out of your savings account and your gold and shove it into stock market now. And that's happening in Japan. The government is saying things are good. People around the world are saying it's good. People are bringing money to Japan to invest. But to convince their own population things are better, things are an opportunity now, good time to invest, is proving to be difficult. Because simple reason, that psychology which you have grown up in, it's very hard to shake. Same reason. Just because you see someone, we talk about women's right? And no matter how much you talk about it, you see movies about it, you still see a mother.
No, the society is not changing.
Yeah, you will see a mother still behaving in the old way. Your father treating your sister in the old way. It doesn't change that fast.
Okay.
Because one is knowing, the other is doing. Knowing is easy, but doing is very hard.
The same thing with investing also. You might have the knowledge, but you don't take the steps to invest.
You will not. That's why most people who watch our videos don't invest. Like you've been doing videos with me for many months now. Before that, you've been working here for many months. Karthi has been working here. Rupesh has been working here. Very few of you invest. Why? Because, you've been hearing it. You've been hearing about gold. You've been hearing about insurance. You've been hearing about all this, but you don't do. Because what drives you to do is what you grew up in. And you've not grown up in this. So, yes, you hear it, you understand it. Yeah, it's true. But there's still inertia in you, refusing you to convert that knowledge which you have gained into action. And that is true. So, in each generation, you see this. That's why even this is true in weight loss. We talk about this. The way we look at, weight loss is different now than they did just 20 years ago. In the beginning, 95, 2000s, is all about, and we still talk about it, calorie in and calorie out. You just have to maintain a deficit. It doesn't matter the quality of the calories. Okay. You can eat chocolate also. You're allowed, eat vegetables and gain that calorie, or you drink soda, Pepsi, and cola. But if you just can make sure you only consume 1,500 calories, it's not. Okay. But now we understand the effects of insulin and sugar, and we realize that insulin spike. But still, the knowledge is there. People still don't follow it. Like fasting, how it helps, we know. Okay. It drops your insulin, and when insulin level is low, whatever food you have eaten, your body requires energy. It doesn't take it from the food you're eating. It starts taking it from your fat reserves. So whatever you've stored as energy, your body starts using stored energy and not energy which is immediately available because insulin level is dropped. If you eat, immediately it spikes your insulin. I'm getting very technical about this. But the knowledge is there. What I'm trying to say, now we understand new knowledge. But we don't immediately switch on to it. Immediately when I tell you about fasting,
that
you go
transition
home.
is not happening.
Yeah, you go home and you tell your new wife and you tell your mother, I would like to do fasting. I heard about this. They also
something will happen to me.
Yes. Same way as true as investment. We talk about stock market and what is all gambling. So that psychology is very true. And it's great. You read the book, you understand it. But it's very hard to do it. Because it's just not you. You have a field of resistance around you.
So even if I have the interest, I say to the people around me and
they will
family,
not. They'll be holding you back. It's like being in quicksand. That's why they famously say, in all these self-help books and all that, your friends are a big part of what you become in life. So if you are keen on becoming something else in life, look at your friends. And if your friends are not wanting to go there, you will have to lose your friends. Because you can't expect to keep the same friends and go to a place where your friends do not want to go. Because they will not allow that momentum to build. They'll be pulling you back. Like if you want to quit smoking, if all your friends are smoking, it's very hard to quit. Because either you collectively decide to quit or you'll have to tell all your friends, I can't be friends with you anymore. And it's a very hard thing to do because it psychologically damages you. Imagine walking away from everything you've known and what all you grew up in and abandoning that and going completely...
And becoming a new life.
Yeah, and they'll be going on and saying, hey, what kind of a guy are you? We've been friends for so many years. For this, you'll let us go, is it? I don't see you anymore. It's very hard. This is a problem. This is a fundamental problem when it comes to investing. And this is why Anand says, you can read about Warren Buffett. All the knowledge is available. All the knowledge is available. What Anand is talking about is no secret knowledge. It is not in some secret book which he can only look at, and then he's only sharing pieces of it. It is public knowledge. Economy and market is the only thing. You don't have to be a genius. There are no prodigies. Like math, you can be a genius. You can be a born mathematician. You can be a born physicist or a chemist. You can have a natural understanding. Right? Like in economy and market analysis, you're not born. You have to learn it. And it's just applying basic, simple knowledge. That's why I said 7th grade maths, is more than enough. Many great investors have said this. You don't need some secret knowledge. Just basic English, basic maths, but then you have to do the hard work. But we find it very hard to do this. We like to think there's some secret sauce to this. There isn't.
So in this book, they compare about 1950s and 1970s. So in Indian market perspective, what will be the years?
You should compare 1980s to your generation. That's why your generation and my generation or your parents' generation find it very hard to understand because your parents' generation did not have passive mutual funds. My generation did not have passive mutual funds. That all came much later. So for us, our generation, investing in something passive, investing in mutual funds is all very alien. Our time, inflation was much cooler. Inflation was not crazy as it is today. So when we had salary raise and, we could keep pace with inflation. So even your FDs were good enough because tax wasn't so bad and inflation wasn't so bad. So you could keep pace with it. It was safe. Nothing went wrong. There's nothing rocking the boat because the world, everyone lived in their own pockets of civilization. Now society has changed. Globalization happened for you guys when you were growing up. So that's why India is much more entwined with US and Western. There's so many Indians living there now. So India cannot do much and they cannot do against us much because we are so interconnected. Our economies are interconnected. Our cultures are interconnected. So our worldviews are interconnected. You guys have that. We don't have that. That's why the older people, the way they talk about politics, the way they talk about elections, you guys will get very confused. You look at us and you're like, how can you talk like that? It doesn't make sense. The world is not like that. But our worldview is from that time. We cannot see the worldview has changed. Few of us do see it and we recognize it. Like people like Anand will see it and recognize it. But the vast majority of the people in that generation don't see it. That's why they talk. When you talk to us, we'll talk like we're talking from 1942. We are from someone old. You don't even need to see the person. You interact with them, let's say on a chat, on a phone call. You'll immediately know what age they are. Because the way they talk. And that book he's talking about 1950s and 70s because US went through the huge reform Most US companies back then from 50s were family-run businesses. All the big companies like Ford and everything were family-run. Disney and everything was family-run. It went to a transition when everything became professionally run.
It happened during 1950s. So 1970s it
Correct.
gave the returns.
Correct. Okay. So that same kind of transition is happening in India. More and more big companies in India are slowly being run by professionals and are professionally managed. So you see the transition, similar kind of transition happening. So your generation is a lucky generation to see that kind of transformation happening. Our generation was just right before that. So our views are very different. And our ideas of investment are very different. That is why you guys struggle to convince your parents.
Yeah, I was about to ask this. Because the limited knowledge they will be having, there will be no internet at that time. The only source of knowledge is through newspapers and books, which is difficult to get. But now we are having so many internet resources where we can get an information easily. So when we say that we are going to do this and invest in stocks, they might have invested in the stock and they would have seen the loss and lost their money. They think that the market is the same as 15 or 20 years later. We try to convince them, but they are not accepting to invest in the market.
I agree. And it's a tough position to be in. Okay. The best way to do them is ask them to read these kind of books. Psychology of Money is a great book to read, but most of them don't read.
Okay.
And the funny thing happens with as you get older, your capacity to learn goes off because you become more and more closed. You feel like you know everything.
William and past knowledge, but we are not open to the new things happening.
You stop growing. Because you feel like you know everything. And that is the biggest problem in society is that we think we know everything.
Okay.
And it's a very tough position to be in. To keep your mind young and fresh and keep that beginner's mind, as they say in Zen, is a very critical thing. And you should always be ready to say, I don't know. As you get older, to say I don't know becomes like you're making a fool of yourself. No, people don't like going on camera and saying, I don't know.
Okay. So one thing I read about Warren Buffett, I don't know if it is true or not. They went to check in Warren Buffett's car and they found the files of some companies and all. It is around when Warren Buffett was in 90s. So he's doing the groundwork and he's still reading the basic things about the company.
In his office, you find nothing but charts and books and company information, balance sheets going way back.
Even after accumulating so much wealth, he's having the beginner's mindset.
Correct.
To learn things.
Correct. Because for him, till this last, like how Charlie was, till his last day, he will keep doing this.
Okay.
There's nothing else to do. See, you all want some purpose in life. When you grow up, you want to know what you're supposed to be doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing finally. You're supposed to be living. Living is doing something every day to find purpose in life. We all want to live a long life. But to live a long life, you have to do the right things. And one of those things is to keep yourself mentally busy. And the way to keep mentally busy is to keep learning.
Okay.
I wish all of us would read more books. More than internet. More than listening to music.
And I didn't read the full book also. I listened to the videos put about the book and found this chapter interesting. So it is not that I have read the full book.
Then you should.
I should read.
Yes. Okay. I know it's a struggle.
Yeah.
See, it's not easy to read. Especially when English is not your first language and the book is in English. It's very difficult to read and it's very slow to read.
Okay.
But realize something. The more you read, the faster you become. It's always exponential. In an exponential graph, it's always hugging like this. Then suddenly it will go up.
For 90% of the time, it will be at the same level.
Yes. So 90% of the time when you start reading, you'll feel like you're not doing anything and it's just a struggle and it's going nowhere.
And even now, I'm finding difficult to read intelligent. But Psychology of Money, Learn to Earn, and few other books I was able to read. But that book,
I'll tell you, my biggest inspiration in my life was, I used to have a driver called Setu in Bangalore. And that guy came from a village. He knew nothing. He didn't even pass. But he took all my sister's old math books, my old math books and English books. While he was driving for us every day, he'll sit and read those books. He learned maths by himself. He learned English by himself. He finally went to Singapore and became a driver in Singapore. To learn to read and write and everything he learned, and he became a driver. He in Singapore, taxi driver. He earned money. He came back and bought land in his village. And that's another story what all happened.
That's nice to hear.
Yeah. So what is nice is human spirit. It is not the money. What attracts you to a story, even Warren Buffett it's not the money. Initially it might be the money. But then when you really get interested in it, even like Rock Dwayne Johnson or whomever you take, it's a human spirit you see there. The humanness that is there, thriving, growing, finding ways to grow.
Okay.
That's what gives you, and that's what should inspire you. So go, struggle. It's all right. Buy the book, invest, and read. You will enjoy it. Or pick a subject you like. If money is not, editing or photography or video, whatever is your subject, buy a book on that. Read about a famous photographer or a video editor.
Yeah.
Learn. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So I hope this video was informative and interesting. So if you want any books to be discussed in the Wednesday podcast, do mention in the comments. We'll discuss in the upcoming videos. If you like this video, please like it and share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel for more videos. See you soon.
Thank you.